This is the Mercedes EQA, a new compact electric crossover that goes up against other EVs like the Volvo XC40 Recharge and the Audi Q4 e-tron. Mercedes is going big on electric cars and it is set to launch a lot of new EVs in the coming years, including the forthcoming EQE and EQS. The EQA will be one of the most affordable electric models in Mercedes' range, and it is the one that it expects to become its best-selling electric car, with prices starting from around €56,000 and an electric range of up to 423 kilometers from a single charge. In this video, we'll show you inside and outside the EQA and tell you everything you need to know. But before we start, remember to check out carzone.ie for Mercedes cars for sale from trusted sellers. The EQA is based on the same platform as the Mercedes GLA, but the engine is replaced with a single electric motor and a 66.5 kilowatt-hour battery. It looks different to the GLA from the outside, however, with a flush black grille, new EQ headlights and a light bar that runs across the front grille and looks really nice at night time. 18-inch alloy wheels are standard across the range, but you can get larger 19-inch or 20-inch alloy wheels, but this does affect the range. There are 10 different colour options to choose from, and this one is denim blue metallic. At the rear there are LED lights that run the full width of the car in similar style to the Mercedes EQC, while the charge port is located where you would normally find the fuel filler cap. Stepping inside, the EQA is very similar to the Mercedes GLA, apart from a few subtle differences. It is very premium throughout, if not one of the best interiors of any electric car on the market at this price point. The overall finish inside is very good with lots of high quality materials, apart from a few hard plastics in places. Another area where the EQA impresses is with Mercedes' MBUX infotainment system, which comprises of two 10-inch screens which are really sharp to look at. The system can be controlled with a touch screen on the dash, a touch pad on the center console, or with buttons on the steering wheel, and the whole system is quite user-friendly. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are both standard for connecting your smartphone, and you also get two different USB-C charge points up front. Of course, it also gets Mercedes voice control, which allows you to set your navigation, change music, or make phone calls easily on the move. Hey Mercedes.
How can I help?
I'm too warm.
I'm reducing the temperature to 19 degrees.
The driving position is very comfortable with lots of adjustment available, so all in, the driver and front seat passenger should be very comfortable on longer journeys. The EQA's battery is located under the floor of the rear seats, so they have had to raise the floor here, and this means that your legs are raised quite high when you sit into the rear seats. This means the seating position isn't quite as good back here, especially on longer journeys, but that said, there is plenty of headroom and it does feel quite spacious in the rear seats. There's also a nice centre armrest with two cup holders built in, and it is good to note that the three rear seats fold down individually, which is useful for quick access to the boot. Elsewhere there are two useful storage nets for storing your items, while further down there is a single USB-C charge point, but it would have been nice to get two charge points here. Boot space is 340 litres, which is a lot less than the Mercedes GLA, which has a 445 litre boot. That said, the space is good with a flat loading floor. The boot is quite tall and wide, and there are also storage hooks for storing your shopping bags and also smaller nets too. Under the bonnet there isn't a front trunk or storage area like you get with many other electric cars, unfortunately. That's because they have replaced the combustion engine from the GLA with the electric drivetrain for the EQA here, and as you can see, this takes up all of the space. So what is the EQA like to drive? Well, it uses a 66.5 kilowatt-hour battery that sends its power to the front wheels through a single electric motor. It makes 190 horsepower in total. The EQA isn't particularly fast though. It will do 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in around 8.9 seconds, but it is slower than most of its rivals and by most electric car standards. That said, most buyers are more likely to care about the EQA's range than how fast it can go, and it has a WLTP certified range of 423 kilometers. From our time driving the EQA2, we found that to be an accurate representation, and it is quite efficient out on the road. A circa 400 kilometer range should be enough to please most buyers, but that said, we are seeing a lot of new EVs coming to the market this year with over 500 kilometers of range. For this reason, we could describe the EQA's range as decent, but not top of the class. The EQA has an 11 kilowatt onboard charger, which means charging at home with a wall box charger will take around 5 hours and 45 minutes to go from 10% up to 100%. In terms of fast charging, the EQA can charge at up to 100 kilowatts, which means you can go from 10 up to 80% in around 30 minutes out on the road. Again, that is somewhat slower than other electric cars such as the Tesla Model 3, for example, which can fast charge at up to 250 kilowatts. You can choose different driving modes including Eco, Comfort and Sport, and you can also adjust the level of regenerative braking using paddles behind the steering wheel. With the most severe regenerative braking mode selected, you can drive the EQA mostly with just one pedal. When you lift off the accelerator, the car slows down naturally to a stop, and the regenerative braking sends power back to the battery, recharging it slightly in the process. The EQA is a heavy car, weighing in at over 2 tons, which is some 500 kilos heavier than the regular Mercedes GLA. Despite this, it corners and handles pretty well, although that extra weight does result in some torque steer and body roll in tight turns. Prices for the Mercedes EQA start from €56,120 in Ireland, which is somewhat more than the entry Audi Q4 e-tron or even a high specification Volkswagen ID4. There are 3 levels of specification to choose from, with Progressive, Electric Art and AMG-Line. The entry specification Progressive is the one that we are driving here, and it is well equipped with 18-inch wheels, front and rear LED lights, roof rails, electric mirrors, heated seats, auto climate control, a reversing camera, ambient lighting, the 2 10-inch screens and leather effect upholstery. Our test car does have some optional extras such as this really nice beige leather upholstery, surround interior lighting, and there's also a projection of the Mercedes logo onto the floor when you step outside. The mid-range Electric Art model starts from €57,214 and it adds a different 18-inch wheel design, rose gold key colouring, illuminated door seals with EQA lettering and other design touches. The range-topping AMG-Line model starts from a whopping €60,946 and it gets additional AMG body styling, a black panel radiator grille, illuminated door sills and AMG wheels, sport seats, a sports steering wheel and stainless steel sports pedals. So, should you buy the Mercedes-Benz EQA? Well, if you're looking for an electric crossover that looks and feels premium, especially on the inside, it could be one to shortlist. What's more, the screens and infotainment inside are really impressive too. It isn't as spacious as many of its electric SUV rivals, however, in the boot and in the rear seats, while it's also more expensive than many of the premium options in the class. The key appeal of this car is its relaxing interior and drive, and that is likely to win Mercedes some new fans as a result. Check out Carzone to find our review of this car on site, where you can also browse Mercedes cars for sale from trusted sellers.